Indonesia want to play an active role in this issue? Please answer the question. Pak Tom.
Tom Lembong secara sigap bangkit dari tempat duduknya dan berdiri untuk memberikan jawaban. Kala itu, tahun 2015 lalu, Tom Lembong dan Jokowi hadir dalam forum Brookings Institution Amerika. Dalam forum tersebut, Jokowi ditanyai perihal public-private partnership. Moderator bertanya bagaimana swasta atau investor asing, terutama dari Amerika, bisa ikut dalam kerjasama yang terkait dengan pengembangan infrastruktur dengan skema tersebut.
Wait, could you take the mic?
Thank you, and terima kasih banyak, Pak. Selamat datang di Amerika. We're very happy you're with us. Thank you very much. My question relates to infrastructure and public-private partnerships. In your talk, you mentioned the progress that you've been making over the past year. And one of the obstacles to that progress is lack of adequate financing. And one of the solutions is public-private partnerships. These have been slow in forming. The previous government talked about them, but not many were forthcoming. Do you have any advice as to how the private sector, both domestic in Indonesia and internationally, particularly America, can play a more constructive role in Indonesia's infrastructure program? And what are some of the reasons that it's been slow? Do you still believe in public-private partnerships? Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to test my minister. Please answer the question. Pak Tom.
Pertanyaan ini begitu sulit bagi Jokowi, tak hanya secara konseptual, pertanyaan ini juga menyentuh ranah teknis yang belum ia kuasai, ditambah keterbatasannya dalam menjelaskan dalam bahasa Inggris. Jokowi pun meminta Tom Lembong yang saat itu menjabat Menteri Perdagangan untuk menjawab pertanyaan tersebut. Saat itu hadirin tertawa, barangkali bagi mereka itu momen lucu dan jarang terjadi.
President Widodo, thank you very much for that comprehensive and very clear speech. I think that your recognition of the imperative of reform in your country is highly important. Your vision of an Indonesia that is more active and constructive in world affairs is very significant. So I think I can speak for all of us that we hope you succeed. The people of Indonesia, I think, want you to succeed. Do you have time for a couple of questions?
Maybe one or two.
One or two? Well, we'll try.
Or three?
Yeah. I'd like to ask you about China. China's the largest country in East Asia in a number of ways. China presents all of its neighbors with opportunities, but it often creates frictions with its neighbors, sometimes even dangers. So that creates a challenge for any leader like yourself. How are you going to try to balance the opportunities off against the frictions and dangers going forward?
We see China as an important partner for Indonesia. We need to build strong cooperation with China because we send many of commodities to China. We export many of our commodities to China. We also see other countries such as United States, Russia, Japan, Middle East, Europe as an also important partner for Indonesia. And about the South China Sea, I told already in my speech that Indonesia is not part of the conflict. We need peace and stability in the region. And we want ASEAN countries and China to start discussing about the content of the COC, Code of Conduct, to start discussing element by element of the Code of Conduct. And Indonesia want to play an active role in this issue.
Okay, thank you very much. For the next question, I would like to call on Mr. James Castle. He is the founder and head of Castle Asia, a firm that's based in Jakarta and provides analysis of the business environment in Indonesia for a lot of firms. Jim?
Thank you very much, Richard.
Wait, could you take the mic? Okay, there.
Thank you, and terima kasih banyak, Pak. Selamat datang di America. We're very happy you're with us. Thank you very much. My question relates to infrastructure and public-private partnerships. In your talk, you mentioned the progress that you've been making over the past year, and one of the obstacles to that progress is lack of adequate financing, and one of the solutions is public-private partnerships. These have been slow in forming. The previous government talked about them, but not many were forthcoming. Do you have any advice as to how the private sector, both domestic in Indonesia and internationally, particularly America, can play a more constructive role in Indonesia's infrastructure program? And what are some of the reasons that it's been slow? Do you still believe in public-private partnerships? Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to test my minister. Please answer the question. Pak Tom. But don't speak longer than my speech.
Thank you, Mr. President, Mr. Talbot, Congressman Sherman, ladies and gentlemen. So, Jim, I think the answer is very much that we absolutely believe in public-private partnership. I think, as the President pointed out, it's only been 1 year. And as many of you know, it's been a very busy year, very eventful, admittedly, sometimes a bit bumpy, but absolutely. I myself, as a trade minister, and I should explain a little bit, in our country, my trade ministry is kind of like a combination of what in the U.S. would be Commerce Department and USTR. So I should cover a lot of domestic commerce. And as such, I travel around the country quite a lot to kind of visit regional markets, village markets, and so on, looking at the domestic commerce. And a lot of times I'm surprised. I run into a reservoir that's under construction, or I run into a power plant, like even a micro one. And the point I'm getting to is basically that I was personally quite surprised, pleasantly surprised by the progress being made on the infrastructure program. It's probably something that we're not conveying much or sufficiently, but really I was quite surprised. I think the reservoirs in particular, there's 16 under construction right now, 65 in total in Presiden Jokowi's program, and just one got switched on a couple of weeks ago in Jati Gede. Is going to irrigate 90,000 hectares of rice paddy. And as many of you might be aware, without irrigation, rice paddies can only be harvested once a year. With irrigation, it can be harvested twice a year, right? So, another one in West Java also, like the Jati Gede, was under construction from Korean contractors. And I saw on the billboard, it's actually a PPP, seems like, between the government of Indonesia and the Korea Exim Bank. So if Congressman Sherman has some positive news about the reactivation of the U.S. Exim Bank. To me, that's very exciting news.
And also you explain about the power plant in Batang. This also
Yes.
PPP.
That's right. So indeed, wow, tough, without running over my time limit. But yes, so Batang Power Station is a PPP. It's designed to be the largest coal-fired power station in Southeast Asia once it's completed. And some of the principals are actually here with us. So perhaps after the event, you can discuss with them. But again, it was a project that was stuck for many, many years. And once again, President Jokowi's specialty, you know, things which people say are impossible, like he just gets in there, hands-on, into the field, and lo and behold, it can be done. So, and that's a huge PPP actually. I think it's more than $3 or $4 billion. But as the president always says, these things take time. They take a process. But personally, you know, many of you know I come from a finance background, so I'm very much a numbers guy. And the way I look at the program is it goes from 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, 16 to 32, 30 to 64. So these things tend to be slow to gain momentum, but once they do, you know, the snowballing, the magic of compounding can be quite stunning. So it's certainly something that the economy, I believe, can look forward to. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Minister. Mr. President, I was impressed with this exchange at how good a chief executive you are. You know how to delegate responsibility without giving up power. For the next question, I would like to call on Ambassador David Merrill. He previously served the United States in the Republic of Indonesia. The mic's coming.
Perjalanan Tom Lembong dari waktu ke waktu tak lepas dari sorotan publik. Tom yang didakwa melakukan tindak pidana korupsi dalam pemberian izin impor gula kristal mentah sebanyak 105.000 ton periode 2015-2016 dan kini mendapat abolisi dari Presiden Prabowo. Ia memiliki reputasi yang sangat mumpuni sebagai seorang profesional. Tom juga sosok profesional berkaliber internasional yang pernah dipercaya mengisi jabatan penting dalam pemerintahan Presiden Joko Widodo. Tom Lembong bukanlah wajah asing di dunia keuangan internasional. Karirnya kemudian beralih ke pemerintahan dengan menjadi penasihat ekonomi untuk Gubernur DKI Jakarta Joko Widodo hingga Jokowi menjadi presiden pada tahun 2014 lalu. Namanya melejit ketika Presiden Jokowi menunjuknya sebagai Menteri Perdagangan pada Kabinet Kerja periode 2014-2016. Di balik layar, ia juga dikenal sebagai salah satu penulis dan penyusun pidato Presiden Jokowi, terutama yang berkaitan dengan ekonomi, teknologi, dan perubahan global. Beberapa pidato ikonik Presiden Jokowi termasuk pidato Game of Thrones di forum IMF World Bank pada tahun 2018 dan pidato Thanos di forum ekonomi dunia diyakini tak lepas dari peran Tom sebagai konseptor utamanya.
Is to make sure that you leave for your next function on time. And I will fulfill that obligation. But I did want to say just one thing in conclusion. I was very struck with what you said about Islam being compatible with democracy, Islam being compatible with modernization. I think these are very important insights. And they are important not just in Indonesia, but around the world. But the future of democracy will be much better served and have much greater promise if Indonesia succeeds. And so we wish you all the best in your effort to ensure that Indonesia is a strong and successful Muslim democracy. Please join me in thanking President.
Thank you.